The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small, and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello there, I'm Chris Stashu.
I'm Mike White.
And this is Father Malone.
And we are the hosts of Dreams for Sale, a podcast about Twilight Zone. Which Twilight Zone, you might ask? Twilight Zone 1985. But at some point, we're going to cover the 2000 show because Father Malone just loves it. Loves it.
All lies. This is lies.
Well, on this episode, we're not talking about the 2000 show. We are talking about 1985's Twilight Zone, and we are rounding out the second season of the show. And I think I speak for the three of us in saying, how did we get here so fast?
Yeah, blinding speed. It feels like we just started recording about the second season.
It's like someone just jumped in a trash can and pushed it down a hill at full speed. We're just going down fast as possible, man.
I think in this case, it was definitely that they, cut the season in half and said, we're going to save the back half for season 3. So
yeah, no, that's fair. But it feels like it's still, these episodes are just flying by.
Well, yeah, but compared to season 1, it took a while.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's fair. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the final 2 episodes of season 2. They would have been put together at one point; they're not now. But we're going to talk about them as one. We're talking about "Song of the Younger World" and "The Girl I Married." So, "Song of the Younger World" is directed by Noel Black, written by Anthony Lawrence and Nancy Lawrence. It aired July 17th, 1987, and it stars Jennifer Rubin, Paul Benedict, Roberts Blossom, again, second time he's shown up on the show, and Pete Kawanko. Everybody's favorite, Pete Kawanko.
Was that the main kid?
Yeah, he's real great.
He's so good.
He's like so good that he was like,
Oh my God. I've never seen grief displayed so, just actually amazing. I'm shocked we haven't heard more from him.
Where is he? Has he done any? Oh, he did nothing else. It's okay. Hey, not everybody is going to have a great acting career.
We can't all be Roberts Blossom.
It's true.
No.
We can't show up twice in the same show.
Yeah. Or Fred Gwynn.
Yeah, also that. So what did you guys think of this segment? It was had an interesting setup. It's like this kid loved Jack London. Sure. It felt like the weirdest introduction. It's like, he likes Jack London. Yes, and?
Hey, it pays off. Come on.
Sure.
Does it, though?
Well, he turns into a wolf. Oh, spoilers.
I will ask, though, does him turning into a wolf have anything to do with Jack London, or is that just the most convenient, stupidest animal they could transform into?
Well, there is like White Fang and all those things from the Jack London book, so I guess I can
Right.
see that, but
Why why?
I don't get it, and I don't get that like ancient book of evil that she's reading from. I don't
If you focus on it long enough, you'll see the door.
I don't get why I said Fred Gwynn instead of Paul Benedict. I'm just completely confused.
I was expecting.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I was too. I just assumed you were mentioning Fred Gwynn because Fred Gwynn's awesome.
No,
That's what.
tall man with a rectangular head. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just as God made me, sir.
Exactly. The best Paul Benedict line of all time. Oh my God. But I will, you know what I will tell you? That door that they see on the page, I expected it to open and the dream worms to come out from Freddy's dead. Because that's all it looked like. Was that weird, like, ancient door in the 3D part that they tried to shoehorn into that movie. Because
Well, that would be appropriate here, given Jennifer Rubin's involvement.
that's why I thought about it.
Yeah.
Jennifer Rubin, though, poor lady.
This episode is a mess.
I say poor lady to Jennifer Rubin because of how bad this episode is.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like they stuck a bunch of ideas in a blender, and this is what kind of came out of it, came crawling out, just going, yeah, we're somewhere in like a love story and the father doesn't like her and him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, we've seen that before. That's good. Stick with that. It's a pretty tried and true formula. And then, yeah, there's the Jack London thing. There's the ancient book of evil thing. I'm like,
The best part.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, she's reading the Necronomicon. All right, but it doesn't seem to have any ill effects other than they get turned into wolves at the end, but they're together forever.
And in her dreams, she's beautiful and bad.
That's true.
God.
What an extensive library this boys' reformatory has, huh?
Yes.
That they have the Necronomicon there. And nothing makes me hate a lead character more than watching them mutilate a book. And he's cutting these pictures of wolves out of this book, and all I can think is like, is that your book, son? And as it turns out, it was not.
Well, with a name like Mordecai Hawkline, one would expect that he doesn't care what the law has to say, sir.
That
Good
is
old
true.
Mordecai Hawkline. Look, when you have a segment this nonsensical, it gets to the point where by the end of it, I don't really have any expectation what's going on or what's going to happen. So you have Roberts Blossom just shooting a guy point blank.
Yeah.
And then about to shoot another guy point blank who's tied up on the ground. And then he turns into a wolf, maybe, or he doesn't. Who knows? I don't, because this episode is operating on this like wishy-washy logic that the show all of a sudden seems to be operating on, which is no rules matter if we don't establish them. And if we don't establish rules, we can do whatever the fuck we want. And that seems to be all of a sudden what this show is doing. It's just like magical logic. Like, of course, there's a book that can transform you into wolves. It's Twilight Zone. Like, rubber stamp with Twilight Zone, let's move on. It's really lazy.
It feels like a bunch of writers came in second season after everybody else left, and they wanted to get their magical romance story out. And I don't know what was in their head that they thought that this was in any way interesting. That it's very writerly with the Jack London thing, and you know the sort of overbearing religioso reformatory warden. Which, by the way, if by the end he's pretty convinced that this kid is a Satanist or a minion of evil in some way. So when he goes to aim at the kid and sees the supernatural thing happening, why wouldn't he just pull the trigger immediately? Like that might have actually redeemed the episode in my mind, where the kid has proven that in this guy's mind that he's a Satanist, and he shoots and kills him and he doesn't get to go to the other world. But good Lord, just, I don't know. It occasionally we get episodes where I feel like these are people who have no business writing speculative fiction. They're just telling whatever story they would have told on any series, and they just throw in a magic book, and there it is.
Yeah. And to your point, it feels like some sort of an exquisite corpse where those writers came in. One guy started the story, had to run out for some cigarettes. Next guy started going for it.
I think my favorite thing is at the end, they're like, Paul Benedict's like, they're going somewhere where you can't hurt them. Like, yeah, except for the fact that they're turning into wolves.
Yeah.
Are they magic wolves? Are they wolves of the earthly plane? Because if they're wolves of the earthly plane, history would suggest that being a wolf is pretty target painted on your back for a lot of reasons, be they real or perceived a la werewolves. So I was kind of, again, I assume that they're being transported to some magical plane, but again, because the show doesn't take a stance, I can't take a stance either, and I'm not going to do the work for the show, because that's not our job. Our job is to critique it, not fill in the blanks, or try to make it into something somewhat halfway intelligible. So,
Did you catch Paul Benedict's character's name?
Hokey.
Perfect. There it is, everybody. That was the whole episode.
I mean, I caught it because they said it a million times. Is Hokey is Hokey a person's name, or was that a job?
I think it was his name. I've never.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I've never hoked before.
Yeah. Well, I don't never heard anyone named a Hokey before. So,
Did you say Hoke Mosley?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm trying to reference anything better than what we had to watch.
Right.
well, Mike already beat us to it with Paul Benedict's line from Spinal Tap. So
Yeah.
There you
which
go.
I quote more often than I would like to admit. I'm just God made me, sir. Who is this fruit? This old fruit. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I have no frame of reference for Paul Benedict other than that scene in Spinal Tap. I've never seen any of the Jeffersons. I've seen him on Sesame Street, but as a child. So if I would go as far as to say that he has better things to do than be on this show with how poorly his character is written.
Yeah. Give him a full episode. I mean, I love the guy.
Yeah. Him and Robert's Blossom got one of the better episodes of the entire series,
Right.
In season 1. And goddamn him, because he walks on screen. I'm like, oh, I get excited. Like, it's been bad up until he walked on, but now he's here. And like, oh
Right.
man, he can't even save it.
Nope.
Nothing could save this. I wouldn't classify this as like one of the worst segments we've seen, but it's just so forgettable.
Truly.
Yeah.
And the second to last time we're going to hear Charles Aidman do the narration,
God
Yeah.
damn it.
which is a real shame given
What we get
what
out of Robin Ward. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Oh, boy.
boy. So do we want to move on to the next segment?
Please.
Yes.
As if it's going to get any better, let's talk about The Girl I Married.
It has been said the 80s are just the 60s 20 years later. The costumes may change, but the cast remains. The arrogant, the radical, the naive and the cynical, the misplaced and the spaced. Each a stage in the growth of a generation as it treads the tail end of the 20th century on a long journey through the Twilight Zone.
So The Girl I Married is a story about fucking your wife while not fucking your wife, while your wife's fucking you, but she's not fucking you. It's written by J.M. DeMatteis. It's directed once again by Philip Daguerre because I guess he was bored. It stars Linda
I think
Kelsey.
they're running out of money at this point.
Yeah, it stars Linda Kelsey, James Whitmore Jr., and Dennis Patrick. And as I kind of led on at the beginning of us talking about this episode, James Whitmore Jr. plays a man, a yuppie, who's married to Linda Kelsey's character, and they're falling out of love. They're remembering the days of past, of how they used to be. And all of a sudden, the next day, James Whitmore's character sees his wife from the pictures in the park.
My wife.
I like great success.
Chris, when you described it initially about a guy fucking his wife who is his wife, and like, to me, there was actually a germ of a good idea in this episode. Like, the idea of cheating on your spouse with your spouse could have been an interesting thing if they had gone in like a science direction with clones or something. But instead, they wrapped it in this like nostalgic fantasy for baby boomers.
Right.
And I didn't think they were going to get to a level of pure hatred on my part for this show. This episode, this is the worst one. I fucking hated it. Me, Chris, I'm not one for nostalgia, like, in general, but like, there's something particularly grating about baby boomer nostalgia. Like, they shoved their goddamn youth down our throats, and then turned into this other nightmare. By the way, these are not yuppies because these people are not young, so fuck them. But but then like get to this point where then they're going to wax nostalgic and long for this thing. And okay, putting all that aside, just on a weirdly sort of plot level, at the end, they kind of is the idea that they've accepted what total fucking dead dreamed assholes that the entire generation had become. Like that was what we're supposed to take away with it, right? Like,
correct.
Fuck our youth. That was all stupid.
You
Right.
wide-eyed, bushy-tailed shitheads! Don't you know it's all about money?
The bums lost, Lebowski.
Yeah.
It's what cracks me up about this entire premise is if you were to explain to your significant other that you had spent the day with them as a younger version of themselves, like Father Malone said, that's an interesting idea, but you don't just like stop there.
Right.
That's where it stops. It like stops at that. It's like, man, you're such a fucking drag because you don't want to do LSD anymore. Like, okay. Most normal folks aren't just going to do LSD on a weekday anyways. Like,
there's that weird moment when
I lived through the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that weird moment when he's talking about like pina coladas and something in the rain. And I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? This is so strange.
Well,
what makes me laugh?
It was you.
I edited you earlier today, Father Malone, on an episode of this show talking about Aquavita, the episode featuring yuppies, right?
That was definitely a yuppie one.
This is worse than that.
It is 100%. It is. Like if this had been, like I said, on just a pure plot level, these people like conjure up their younger selves, and then we get something like the younger selves murder them and take their place, or if something had happened instead of this ugly nostalgia trip. By the way, it starts off, the opening scene is the lead character sitting at a business lunch and he's staring at a photo of his young wife, right? When she was younger. How natural is that as a setup? Wow. How often, I mean, I find myself constantly just taking out photographs of my wife and staring at her while someone's trying to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like actual physical photographs, not even like looking at stuff on your phone.
Right.
Just carry around.
I take it out of the wallet, I hold it up, and I stare.
All it makes me think of is that gag in Naked Gun. Why does he have a picture of your wife, Martha? Martha? My wife? I mean, who carries around pictures of the significant other? Oh, I mean, I guess people in the 80s could have. But my favorite thing, actually, Father Malone, about that opening scene is the guy goes, who's that? Who is that in that picture?
Yeah.
Bro, that's that guy's wife. Her hair's still red, bro. Like,
it's still clearly her. What's happening here?
I didn't know where it was going. I thought that like there was like a weird like mistaken identity thing going on, and then when it gets back to their house, I was like, oh, okay, that's where this stupid ass episode is going. Just gonna be stupid.
How about that super cool Woodstock like split screen triopter?
Oh my God. What the fuck was going on with that?
Let's
I was
break
just
that
like,
down, please.
oh my God. Well, it was so strange too, where it was just like, it's kind of a split screen, but not really. It's like 2 seconds behind. I'm like, I'm just like, I rewatched Sisters recently and I'm like, yeah, this is how you do split screen here, folks. And then you're watching this. It's like, what is happening? And why is it like 4 screens going on? And
they hadn't hit their editing budget yet.
Wow.
That's what it was. They're like, we have some extra money left. Can we just be fucking obnoxious?
Yeah. Let's get the video toaster going. I was waiting for like some star wipes and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Let's get Tim Jennison of Tim Vermeer's fame video toaster out. He just probably made a couple dollars by us mentioning it. So video toaster, there's $3 more. What's sad about this segment is the same thing that I feel like has plagued this season more so than the first one. These just like melancholy, saccharine ass stories that are wish fulfillment stories. Like, I wish I could talk to my former self and tell him that things are going to be okay. Like, the only people that want to do that are people who are fucking miserable assholes like the people in this episode.
Right. I mean, we've gone all the way to your point from earlier. We've gone all the way from Shatter Day, where it's like, the guy disappears once his other version shows up and something is going on. And there's stuff going on in that episode. It's very interesting. It's fascinating stuff. And here we have 2 people from the past showing up. And maybe they take their places. Maybe something happens. Maybe there's a fight. I was waiting for the old guy to start punching out the young guy, but then his fake beard would have flown off.
Yeah.
He was punching something, but he wasn't punching the other guy. He was punching that man's wife with his tongue on the ground. He was tongue punching her, but not like that. But maybe because the other guy was tongue punching his. Why?
Yeah, I loved how he got outraged at his wife with the younger version of himself while he's been spending day after day with the younger version of her.
Yeah,
and if they had done at least something like maybe they remembered themselves as idealistic and then they meet themselves and realize, no, they were assholes from the get-go. Like, at least there would have been something here. Right. But this was just like a longing for a time that no longer exists and then repudiating it for, I don't know. This is very bad.
Well, all they did was bang the entire episode, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing is, like, given the opportunity to talk to your past self and interact with them, you're just like, yeah, I want to bang.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't fuck his younger self and she fucks her younger self. Sure.
There would have been something interesting.
That would be the version that they would have now.
Right.
It's I'm actually bisexual. I want to have sex with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Black Mirror, Andrew Mackie kind of thing.
Right.
The pinnacle of quality. But that would even be more interesting than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Instead, what we're getting, or what has slowly dawned on me, is that every writer on the staff of the show has a time travel, lost love, or lost youth episode in them. And now that they're like everyone really good is gone, everyone's going to get to trot theirs out. We had an episode earlier this season like this. Or wait, we're going to see this more in the next one. I'll talk about it in the next one.
J.M. DeMatteis is really good at writing comic books. That's the sad thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but comic books are comic books, and teleplay is a teleplay. No,
this is not a comic book.
They're apples and oranges. I mean, everyone gets a little too hung up on like, oh, this is just like a storyboard of a movie, and it's like, yeah, it kind of is, but the dialogue blows. Like, say it all out loud. You'll see what we're talking about.
Right.
Man, what a great
can I just say
season.
Yeah, I in my notes, this is the one thing I wrote that I'd like to share with everyone. Baby boomer nostalgia. There's nothing more disgusting in the world.
I thought you were going to have a whole poem there.
Baby boomers, feed them to the wolves. Yes, I said it. Feed them to the wolves. End scene. I mean, look, ultimately at the end of the day, let's not kid ourselves. The baby boomers are the reason we're in the situation we're in financially in so many ways. So yes, watching a nostalgic waxing wistfully about your lost love means go fuck yourself to me. Because I know where you end up as a generation. You're ending up on Facebook telling me about your MAGA hats and how the election was stolen. So there, I said it because Mike won't. Because
some
Mike's
sort of lefty loon.
But I mean, that is where these characters would be if they were alive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And what's funny is the thing that they end up sort of discounting are the only good things from their generation, which was the sort of cultural things, and that the shift away from sort of conformity of clothing and whatever, like all the good stuff that still remains from them. This episode is saying that was all crap.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, I would have loved he meets his younger version of his wife, and yeah, she's all about boning, but then she starts talking about fucking crystals and drugs and just let's just do our thing, man. Let's and suddenly she becomes one of those horrible girls from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where you're just get out of my car. I don't want your stinky feet on my dashboard. Thank you very much.
I like how she says, the older version of herself says, I used to look like a bag lady. Really, bro? Really, bro? Really? You used to look like a bag lady?
Right. Oh, yeah, because there's nothing worse than the homeless in mid-'80s.
Right. Well, and now, to be fair, because who doesn't hate the homeless but every major city in this country when they take away benches for them to sleep on?
Or put spikes on them. That's the best.
Oh, that's even better. Give them somewhere to sleep, but make it inhospitable for them. Yeah. This segment, for whatever reason, like you've said, Father Malone, it really rubs me the wrong way. More so than a lot of the other baby boomerish nostalgia episodes have. And I wonder if with the newer stuff 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, how it'll be received, maybe the same way. I can't imagine it won't be.
Look, nostalgia has its place, and it can be done skillfully and artfully, and you can get something from it. But so far, what this series has shown us as far as traveling down the nostalgia avenue is it's all bullshit. Please don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Boy, that should be the tagline for this season. This is all nostalgia. Stop it. So with season 2 in our rearview mirror, we should do a little bit of a wrap up here. So starting with you, Mr. Mike White, favorite segment of the season, least favorite segment of the season.
That's tough, man. Oh, because this season, like you're saying, it feels very short. I guess it has to be Saucer of Loneliness, going all the way back to that episode with Shelley Duvall. That one actually really hit home. That one, and I'm going to also say I actually liked the Convict's Piano quite a bit because it was short and sweet, told a nice little story, and you got Norman Fell in it.
What's you, Father Malone?
I echo that. Definitely Saucer of Loneliness. Like, I thought that was what I want from the Twilight Zone, particularly what I wanted from this new version of the Twilight Zone. There are a couple others that I liked. I think are still passably good. Even the Elvis one, I think, is fun in its own bizarro way. But we just watched, and we're talking about my least favorite episode of the season. It was just utter garbage.
So I actually would go with the Toys of Caliban only because it completely subverted my expectations, given I watched like the first 5 minutes because I just had left it on and I needed to stop it. And I saw whatever the fuck was going on in the first 5 minutes. And I thought, this is going to be the train wreck that I have been waiting for. It turned out not to be. It was very good. I would say it barely eked out The Road Less Traveled. I know I liked that one a lot. You can go back and listen to our episode on that. But Toys of Caliban was good. And the worst one, man, there's a lot of competition this season. I mean, it feels like half of the episodes this season could be considered just bad. I'm going to go with Night Song because that is just like, what was that even?
Yeah.
I'm still stinging so much from Grace Note. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's the first season, so I can't count that. But I'm just like, what's the worst one I've seen in a while? That one.
I was really disappointed that none of us said Joyride as the worst because, boy, that's up there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I at least like the concept of this stationary car and it existing in another time, like barreling down roads. For some reason, that image alone, and it was a short one, too. It wasn't it wasn't this half hour of boy, baby boomer fucking nostalgia, man. Like, Jesus H. Christ.
Ladies and gentlemen, Father Malone, huge fan of baby boomers.
You know what? I don't think my generation is any great shakes either, but like, I will dope slap anyone who traffics in this kind of nostalgia. It's gross.
And they were trafficking in it like 20 years after it happened.
I mean, it's interesting because I'm not remembering this season being particularly strong, but there are some good episodes in here. You know, you guys have mentioned some, even thinking about the one with George Wendt. What was that? The World Next Door or something?
Yeah.
Time and Teresa Golowitz, another good one. Exactly.
And I think if memory serves, like the idea behind the card was good, but it wasn't executed properly.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
The Joe Mantegna one. That's a good one.
Joe Mantegna.
That's a good one.
Yes, that's a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think though this season is probably much less successful than the last one, which is fucking strange given that the last one has twice as many episodes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because all of those ones that we've mentioned have some sort of a twist to it and some sort of supernatural thing going on. And too many of these just don't have the twist, and they just start in one place. I mean, them turning into wolves, I'm sorry, I don't really consider that a twist. You know, it's just like, all right, they turned into wolves.
She growled at him, though. Didn't see that coming. It's, Father Malone, this doesn't feel as bad as Chronicles from the Crypt's Fall Off, but feel like give it another season, and it might be.
I think if they continue letting these writers write the majority of the show, look, it's going to get worse. There's just no question about it. Like, I think the the quality drop from season 1 to season 2 is kind of precipitous here in Twilight Zone land. And I do think that's because when it was announced that there was going to be a new Twilight Zone show, like every sort of high end, like decent author and television person wanted to get on that show because they loved the show when they were kids. And after their treatment in the first season, they bailed and we were left with everybody else. And that's what we're getting. And now it's going to get even worse because these people are mostly going to go because they're moving the entire production to Canada.
Sounds like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, like let's send it to England. You know what, though? As bad as any of these seasons could be, nothing will be as bad as season 7 of Tales from the Crypt. So I'm hopeful.
A season that needs to be jettisoned at high speed into the sun. All versions of it. No recordings need to exist. That's how bad it is. But I mean, this season, I look, they're like less than half of the season is worth checking out, which is a shame. There's like 15 episodes, so...
They're still good, though. I mean, you know, Shelter Skelter and fucking Saucer of Loneliness, like, as I would not see them out of place in season 1.
No, I would agree. Yeah, but man, this just such a bummer. Really, just thinking, Mike, you mentioned Shatterday, and I just think about Shatterday from time to time when I watch the show, and I'm just like, what has happened here?
Yeah, man, they started strong, right?
I know. It's almost like Tales from the Crypt. Like, they start so strong, and like you're just like, well, you have nowhere else to go but down, I guess.
They needed more Rockney O'Bannon, but he left to do Sequest DSV, which was almost this show. Remember that?
Wait, do what?
When you first approached me about doing a podcast separately, you were like, let's do Sequest DSV. No one's done that. I'm like, no, but there's a guy involved with it that I'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, funny.
Coincidentally, he did leave this show quickly. So on the next episode of Dreams for Sale, we're going to be taking a look at the first and second episodes of the final season of the show. Those episodes are The Curious Case of Edgar Witherspoon and Extra Innings. So until then, Father Malone, where can people find you?
You can check me out.
Whoa!
See, I just went to Canada.
You went to Canada.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready for the next season. You can check me out over at fathermalone.com. I've got links to all of the stuff that I do, including my half-hour radio drama, Dark Destinations. You can also find links to the Almost Over Chronicles from the Crypt, the show that Chris and I just mentioned, and my YouTube channel.
At this point, it is long over.
Yeah, okay. It's done, but you can still get it.
Yeah, you can still find it. Father Malone and I and Mike and I have both finished a podcast together. So there you go. And we're going to finish this one together as well. So
sooner than later.
Yeah, Christ almighty. Where can people find you, Mike?
As always, you can find me over at the Projection Booth Podcast, which is available at projectionboothpodcast.com. You can also hear Chris and I talk about Barney Miller on the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast, which I think is available at barneymillerpodcast.com. And and then I sell some dreams with y'all.
Yeah, not for long, not for much longer. We'll be selling dreams until they're on liquidation, which I think is coming soon. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Christmas Claus and at cstashu.com. That's my link tree. Mike lamenting how dumb link trees were. It's okay.
I got one still.
So. Oh, do you have one? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I created it for when we did that live podcast.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if anybody uses it, and I can't track that information.
I do.
You what?
I use Linktree.
Yeah. You sure
I
do.
mean, I don't know how many people go to it and click through is what I mean.
Oh, I see.
You should, though.
Yeah, well, you should. Agreed. But you can find me here and on Twitter at Christmas Claus. Big thanks always to Roxy Drive and Neutron Dreams for the music for this podcast. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Deaf Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production podcast network. We hope to see you online.